So I've been covering Minecraft updates for that long, but boy oh boy, to me at least, 23W32A has to be the dumbest update they have added yet, right? Now, I don't mean the vibration changes, right? Any addition to redstone customization is always fantastic for the game because that's probably one of the most heavily invested areas of play. But the technical changes in this version, boy oh boy do they suck. For more than one reason, right? So they are trying to bring consistency to the inconsistent, right? They have changed the way that mob effect storage on items, entities, and block entities is done. More so the language that you are needing to use, right? So they've tried to make it standardized along with the majority of other NBT language or string that you write out, right? So for instance, ID is no longer capitalized, it's lowercase, same with ambient. Anytime you have a joint word, it's now underscored, right? So show underscore particles, both with lowercase. So yeah, various mob effect fields have been renamed for consistency with structures. However, what this has done, right, it has brought consistency to the inconsistent, but also created a lot more inconsistency, right? Especially with some of these items, because they haven't tweaked everything to do with these items, these entities. So area effect clouds, that's a big one, right? So they've changed effects to lowercase effects. They haven't touched radius. They haven't touched duration or amplification. They haven't touched any of these variables within the area effect cloud itself. They've only touched effects, right? So now you have to capitalize every single word for area effect clouds except effects. So I don't know what they're doing. It seems half-assed. And overall, they have just decided to break the majority of data packs for no apparent reason, right? Anytime you're summoning a custom mob with potion effects, doesn't work. You're creating custom potions for a player, right? You now have to go through, make sure you change this over, but then there's no backwards compatibility either, right? Once you update to the custom potion effects, the new standardized language, right? You're no longer usable with any version prior to this snapshot, which is a weird thing, especially when in the last snapshot, right? What did they add? They added in multi-version packs. The ability to have ranges within your pack ID, so the little number you associate with the data pack, with the resource pack, to show that it is valid from, Minecraft version X to Minecraft version Y. But that's irrelevant because between 16 and 17, their example right here, it's no longer valid, right? From Snapshot 32A, you no longer have backwards compatibility with 16 unless you're doing absolutely nothing with potion effects, with custom arrows, with custom potions, with area effect clouds, or mob entities where you're spawning them in with custom potion effects, which is a big thing usually done, right, to buff mobs. So yeah, so it's just mind-boggling to me that they would just do this out of the blue almost, right? They, again, cite for new structures, so maybe they're looking to add in new things to do with potion effects, but at the same time, why implement it now? Why not implement it when those new structures come out? Usually, from my perspective, the correct thing to do, if you're going to do something that breaks a lot of the creative elements of Minecraft, right? Because a big part of Minecraft, right, you can probably split it into a few things: mini games, data pack or mod creation, and then obviously normal play. Okay, so you're targeting 1/3 of that aspect and you're breaking it all, right? Because now everyone has to go through, report their packs, update them to the new jargon, right? Or just accept that their packs are no longer compatible and just use this going forward. So why implement it in a snapshot? Why not wait until you come out with something that is usually game breaking, right? So anytime they implement like new entities or big content updates for Minecraft is usually when we see things break. So why not wait till then to actually implement these random changes? Again, I'm calling them random because they don't target everything, right? This idea of creating consistency isn't being done because there are still a lot of NPT data strings that you edit and you change yourself that don't conform to this new language standardization, right? The big one, again, is the area effect cloud, right? If I go through my data pack and we open this, for instance, right, I'm busy porting everything over, making sure it still works. And again, this also means that in terms of my pack, I'm probably not going to release it until the next big update for Minecraft, right? Because it's weird to release a pack for a snapshot. So yeah, right? Duration, capitalize. Particle, capitalize. Radius, capitalize. Radius per tick, capitalize. If you do any of the other variables, the radius on use, duration on use, right? They're all still capitalized. They're still not conforming to the new version, right? Radius per tick, per their consistency, should be this. But it's not. It's still that old version. The only thing that they targeted and changed was effects, which is just weird to me. And then everything inside the effects as well, right? These now have to be lowercase, which is annoying in itself, right? Structures used in many places. I assume this means inside the effects. If it's not, that's even weirder, right? Contents transformed as a list of mob effects instances. I assume that means that. Yeah. So it's annoying to me because, again, it just seems, what's the purpose of this? Why break everything? Why break all these packs that were, being built around 1.20, being ported to 1.20, just for the sake of, again, making a few things consistent, because they haven't made everything consistent, right? Very, very mind-boggling to me. There is one big upside. Doesn't show bugs fixed, does it? No. Okay, let me go to the actual web page. So a big one for me in the bugs, right, is to do with the clipping. So here it says, Wild and Eye Armor trims display floating pixels when applied on the chainmail helmet. Now, whatever they've done to correct this has corrected the layering of trims by and large, which is really good. So I don't know if you've seen them, but I've made a lot of custom weapons using the trim mechanic. So it overlays one image on the other, and because they are occupying the same space, you get these glitchy floating pixels. But because they've fixed it somehow for the chainmail, however it's rendering or calculating, on the back end of Minecraft, it has by and large fixed a lot of those images within my own pack, which is great, right? That's the one fantastic thing that I find out of this pack. It's just, again, me having to go through, sift through all my files to any time I've used effects and tweak them slightly, and have this somewhat expectation that they're probably going to maybe move on to the rest of the language, which in itself is going to be more annoying, or just deciding, I'm not going to update. It's just going to be a 1.20 data pack, which I don't like. I like being on the latest version. It's all just, again, to me, the right thing to do would be anything that's breaking the majority of, again, a huge part of your community, right? Content creation outside of the base game is huge, right? Making data packs, making mods, making plugins is all huge. So to change the language used in all of that, for, again, no apparent reason, is weird to me, right? It should have been done at a big content patch, right? So at 1.20, if they'd done all this, that'd be fine, because, again, 1.20 would break most packs, so you need to port them over anyway, or, 1.21, whatever comes out with that would have been another great time to change it. Just not randomly now decide to, we're sick of capitalization, let's lowercase them, and we're going to add in the underscores just to make them, in line with how we generally write a lot of NBT. But again, not every NBT. Any of the things made before Microsoft, right? They generally use this old school language, and then anything created after, since Microsoft has taken over, use this new language variation. Fix everything, don't fix anything. Those are my two arguments. Right, now for comparison's sake, I am on a 1.20 world, right? And as you can see, the little claw in my hand as I move around, all the little pixels are quite glitchy. Same with on the sword. We go to first person, right? It's a little less apparent, but you can still see some of them, shimmer as they overlap, especially on this, right? Yeah, but if we go ahead and hop into the latest Snapshot world, we can see that, to me at least, right, they look a bit better, right? Everything doesn't really move about or glitch out. There's still a little bit, but it definitely looks a lot better, right? The big thing was the top of the gauntlet, right, where it was meshing with my arm-ish, and also the base of the underlying texture, right? It was really glitchy, but this looks a lot more consistent, right, with less pixels bugging out, which is nice. It's good. Good update. Now, before we go, right, the last thing I do want to test is the area effect cloud stuff, right? So if we summon a area effect cloud, let me copy one from my data pack, because I want to test inside the effects bracket if it needs to be capitalized or not. Right, so here's what we have. Again, particles is still capitalized, duration is still capitalized, radius per tick is still not using underscores. So we'll see what happens. Now, if we summon it, we don't get anything. Okay, so inside, I believe ID needs to go to actual what the Minecraft ID is. We'll try it without beforehand, but we'll change all these to their lowercase variants. Might as well keep the version 2. ID, amp, and duration. So we shouldn't get anything, no. So now I have to go through and I have to look up what these are meant to be. But we'll just use whatever for the time being. So we'll go speed, and for the second one, we'll just do haste, since that is memorable to me. Right, haste. There we go, and we get the 2 potion effects. Right, so this is what you have to do. What I have to do, I have to go through all my packs, and anytime I create an area effect cloud, I have to adjust the language, and I also have to be prepared that one day soon, they might change duration, radius, and radius per tick as well. And then I will have to redo it all once again. Great update.